I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737-777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. This is your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 220. And I got a question for you. Do you find yourself doing things and not really knowing why you do them? And they're not things that really serve you. They're not really things that empower you or allow you to move closer to your goals. But we're going to talk about, number one, why you do those things, but also how to find ways to do the things you actually want to do. This is Eddie Bell's podcast, episode 220 with Code Freedom. And I'm super excited today because, look, it's a brand new year. It's 2023. And let's talk about it. I mean, there's some things that we want to achieve in this year that maybe you didn't achieve last year. So we need to start to look at, okay, why didn't we achieve it last year? Or for that matter, maybe we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve in the last 5 years. But then if we start to really do some self-evaluation, we can discover that we have certain paradigms. And we've talked about paradigms a lot on this podcast, but it's one of those things that you need to bring back up every single year, because a lot of times the paradigms are so deeply embedded from childhood. I mean, if you have a paradigm that you've been living for the last 25, 30, 40 years, sometimes even longer than that, it's not easy to just break that paradigm overnight. So the first thing we have to do is we have to identify what the paradigm is. Maybe your parents had this belief that money didn't come easy. So now you believe that money doesn't come easy. So you believe you have to work your butt off and struggle and have 5 jobs to really earn a decent income. And so once we change the paradigm and start to say things like, hey, money comes to me easily and frequently through multiple sources on a continuous basis, now you open yourself up to the world that, hey, um, I don't have to work. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to work hard, but I don't have to work as hard as I thought. I don't have to slave for it. I don't have to, really put myself in a position where I'm just burnt out trying to provide. Right. So when we start to change the paradigm, we first have to identify what that paradigm is. Now, affirmations are huge for breaking paradigms, but it's not the only thing. And sometimes people will leave it there, but affirmation alone will not do it, right? We also want to do things like meditation, right? Where we can start visualizing and seeing it. And as you guys know, I talk about this a lot, and I've been talking about it a lot more lately. You want to go back and listen to the podcast episode 219 as we talk, I'm sorry, 218, we talked about meditation. But with meditation, you want to have the feeling. You want to understand that the more you feel it, the quicker you start to manifest it. So feeling is very, 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 very important, because as we talked about, the subconscious has no clue whether it's reality or not. So if you could take yourself there in certain terms of feeling it, even if you're not there yet, then your subconscious is like, oh, this is the life that we live. Okay, let's
Every episode we talk about stretching ourselves and growing ourselves and becoming better. And I get it. You're busy, you're on the go. You don't always have time to stop and maybe read a book. Well, listen, I got the perfect thing for you. You're probably familiar with Audible. Audible is an audiobook service from Amazon, and they offer the world's biggest selection of books. I'm talking any book that I've recommended, and I've recommended a lot. You can get that book and you can listen to it on the go while you're in the car. Why not turn your car into Drive Time University? And for listening to this podcast, you can get your first 30 days free on us. So go to audibletrial.com/code freedom. That's audibletrial.com/code freedom. And we'll also put that in the show notes.
Let's produce more of this, and then it'll start to guide you toward that. So affirmations, meditation, your surroundings are huge too, because if you're around, so let's just say you're around certain people and they have those same thought processes, it will trigger you to go back to your old habits. Okay, so it's really important who you hang with and who you're surrounded around. You want to make sure you're around people who obviously think the thoughts that you would like to have, not the ones that you used to have, right? And again, there's all kind of paradigms. There's health paradigms. There's financial paradigms. There's relationship paradigms. Like some people believe that it's not wise to get married, and then other people believe that you know no matter what's happening, you should be married. So everyone has a different philosophy or thought process, but you want to make sure you understand what paradigms that you have and what paradigms you actually want. And there's a lot of other things that we can talk about, but those are just a few things: affirmation, meditation, and your associations of who you're around. Those are some critical, that's like a three-legged stool. It's critical toward making sure that you not only change the paradigm, but you start moving toward the paradigm that you want. Right. And eventually you want to get to a place where you don't even have to think about it because it is now your new paradigm. And that is where you really want to be. That's the sweet spot, is getting rid of the old paradigms and getting the new paradigms. Right. And so this is powerful stuff because just think of it this way. If we have these negative paradigms that they've been put on us by sometimes our parents, sometimes the surroundings that we had when we grew up, you know, like for instance, if you grew up on hand-me-downs, and you didn't want to have hand-me-downs, but that's all you know, eventually you could potentially think that you know, my whole family should have paradigm, I'm sorry, hand-me-downs versus changing it to the point where you just get to a place where it's like, no, we can get the best stuff, right? We can get what we want, not just always have to go off of what someone else already had. So again, I'm just using that as an example, but the paradigms are real and we want to break those, especially in a new year. Some people have the theme "break free" in 23, right? But look, this is a perfect time to do it because while you're motivated and it's a fresh new year. We don't want to get caught up in the mundane by June and July and August. Hey, it doesn't even take that long. We get caught up in the mundane by February. And so that's why we got to have these surroundings. We got to have the meditation. We want to have a complete transformation change and get to a place where the new paradigm is so deep embedded now that we don't even remember the old paradigm. Does that make sense? So this is powerful stuff. I'm definitely going to have some guest speakers around this topic too, because I think it's so important that we really can have complete transformation, not just talk about it like, "Hey, new year, new me," but we really have a plan. We really have a game plan. In fact, you know, I was reading a quote today, and I thought it was really, really powerful. I'm gonna read it to you real quick. It said, um, definite plans produce definite results. I'll say that again. Definite plans produce definite results. And so once we start to shift the planning, by shifting how we think and shifting the paradigms and the way that we would think, man, everything else starts to change. Everything starts to go in the right direction because we got it from the root, right? And so I just think that's so powerful, so important. And I cannot wait to see the transformation that you're going to have. So, hey, this is another podcast episode, episode 220, and we can't wait to see you on the next. God bless. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.